Let's make a healthier fermented salsa. You got all these tomatoes going on. We need something to do with them. And you got all this extra vegetables. Let's make a small batch. I just cut my tomatoes up in chunks and then I puree them in my blender. I've got bell peppers, onions, 1 jalapeno, garlic, a little bit of coriander, and some cumin, and a little bit of lemon or lime juice. All the little tidbit leftovers from the garden. So our pureed tomatoes made about 4 cups of pureed salsa. And we're just going to pour it in. I got a big bowl here. And by the time you add your other little vegetables and stuff from the garden, it'll add up. Whoops. Forgot to take my blade out. But you just want to get it pureed really good. Unless you like a chunky salsa, y'all. We like ours pureed up just a little bit. And if you wanted to, you could even puree your other vegetables in there with it. Like I'll do my salsa verde. But I kind of like my other vegetables just left alone. And most of this you'll probably have already on hand. I've got a red bell pepper. I've got 1 jalapeno, some garlic, and I've got a whole red onion here. You can use any kind of onion you've got out of the garden. And I'm not going to use all that onion. I'm going to save some of it for my salsa verde. But I am going to put a whole jalapeno in here. And I've got about 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. We like a lot of garlic, and I think it makes salsa taste really good. So I'm going to put it all in here. If you don't have fresh garlic out of the garden, just use a little bit of garlic powder. I would use a teaspoon, and then I would just taste it. And if you want to add more to it, you can. I do think the fresh onions and bell peppers and everything, I just think that that's almost a must-have to make it really taste good. You also want to put you a little bit of, we're going to be putting some salt in here, and that'll help with the, preserving it a little bit. But what's going to preserve it is the fermentation, and then once we just stick it in the fridge, because we won't be canning this salsa. Because if you're going to go to the trouble of fermentation to help your belly just a little bit with them probiotics, you sure don't want to can it and take away what probiotics in there. And I like cumin, y'all. So I'm going to put, I don't know, probably, that's about a teaspoon and a half of ground cumin. This is coriander seeds, and I'm just going to kind of mush them up. Now, you don't want to put too much in there, but a lot of people like cilantro in their salsa. Danny doesn't like cilantro. It leaves a weird taste in his mouth, and it does a lot of people. But the coriander seems to give it a good citrusy taste, and it won't give you that cilantro taste. I like cilantro, but Danny doesn't, so we won't be using it. Plus, if I use cilantro, I like to use it fresh anyways. And of course, you want to put some salt. A good 2 teaspoons, probably a teaspoon and a half. You can taste it. Make sure it's not too salty for you. And then we're just going to mix this up, and that's our salsa. And we need a little bit of either lemon juice or lime. This is juice from half a lime. I'll use the other half a lime for my salsa verde. But if you don't have lime juice, you can use lemon juice. But as you stir this up, taste it and see what it tastes like. If you think it needs more garlic, or if it needs, if you want to put a little bit of cayenne in it, if you want to put more jalapeno in it, if it needs a little bit of black pepper in it, or more onion. I mean, you need to make it to your taste and how you like it. And the fermentation is just really going to put it over the top too. It's going to make it taste really good. Not going to taste sour. It's going to have kind of a, well, I can take that back. It will have a little bit more of a vinegary taste, so maybe that is a little bit sour. But the taste is wonderful. And I got that spot on. It tastes really, really good. So hopefully I can remember when I put the recipe down, everything that I put in here. When I'm just playing it by ear, sometimes I forget stuff, and y'all have to come back and remind me, and I appreciate that too, because I had to go back and either add or take out of my recipes. So now let's put them in our jars and get them ready. Okay, I had enough to put some in my quart jar, and then I put some in a pint jar, and I left enough room for them to expand during fermentation. You just want to make sure that you clean the rims and everything off really good, but everything's down in there. You want to make sure that, everything's under the liquid, which with it being pureed like that, the onions and all that stuff seem to stay under there pretty good. But what I'm going to do, because you can't put a heavy, anything heavy to keep your vegetables down under the juice, because it'll just fall through there. So I'm taking a piece of a little bell pepper. It's kind of like you do sauerkraut. You kind of put your leaf over the top to kind of weigh it down, but you can't put weights on this because it'll just go to the bottom. So I'm going to put that piece of bell pepper over the top just to kind of weigh it down and keep everything underneath the juice. You just have to tear it up and make it fit. All these little vegetables always come in handy, whether if you put them in your recipe or you use them during fermentation. They're all going to work. All these little tidbits of stuff you get out of the garden here and there, they always come in handy for something. So just make sure that everything's underneath the juice. Now what I'm going to do is, I don't buy the pickling tops or the fermentation tops. I just use the old-fashioned way. I just use cheesecloth over the top. Now if you put a regular lid on it, you're going to have to put your jar in a bowl, and you're going to have to come back and then burp it several times, because the gas is going to build up. And that's the reason I left such big head space, because it will rise and during the fermentation. So when you put this in your pantry in a dark place, a cool dark place, put it in a bowl or put it on a little saucer, because it'll expand, and the juice will go all over your table or your shelf if you're not careful. So it's about that easy, and here in about 2 days, your fermentation should be done. It depends on, since it's summertime, I wouldn't leave it in there no more than probably 3 days. So it's just about that easy, y'all. I want to show y'all something. I want to share this with y'all, because y'all know how much I love sharing with y'all. This is powdered hatch chilies. And y'all know I absolutely love to use green chilies in a lot of my recipes. But you can get this on Amazon, different places. But I wanted to share this with y'all just in case you might be interested. And this is my coriander seeds that I get from Thrive Market. That's my go-to grocery place for a lot of good products. So let's get this in my pantry, back in the shelf. And I will be putting them in a bowl, just in case they ferment and come outside the jars. So I've got them in my bowl. They'll be happy right here for a few days. Okay, now let's make some fermented Salsa Verde. I planted about two plants of tomatillos, and this is what I got off 2 plants. They're still growing. If you want a lot of tomatillos, you got to plant several plants. But I knew I wasn't going to, make a whole lot of Salsa Verde, just enough for me and Mr. Brown. And they grow, and they have these little husks around them. You'll know when they're done on the plant, because they'll grow and get, the little tomatillos start growing in that husk, and it'll fill that husk out. Now you just want to take that husk off. Then you want to absolutely wash these really good because they got a sticky residue on them. It's really sticky. It's not bad for you, but it is sticky, so you want to wash them really good. So we're going to take what I've got here and we're going to make us some salsa verde. Okay, we are going to use the or my blender for the salsa verde. And I'm just cutting these up in chunks like I did my tomatoes. You can see what they look like. They kind of look like a lime when you cut them into them. But you just want to kind of chunk them up. That way they'll blend up better for you. And I do like my salsa verde pureed. And I use salsa verde in so many different recipes. I like to make it fresh just to put on street tacos or just on top of anything. I love to put it in, during the wintertime I make a chicken salsa verde chili. I do even like to put salsa verde in my taco soup, in my chilies. When I make, I've got a good recipe for chicken enchiladas with sour cream and salsa verde sauce on top. If y'all ever want to see that recipe, it's absolutely delicious. So we're going to end up with about four good cups of your chunked up tomatillos before they're pureed. Is about what I'm going to have here. So if you have to buy them at the store, you'll know about how many you need to get just to make this, a small batch of salsa verde. I'm going to try to remember take my blade out of here next time. So we're going to put our tomatillos in there. We're going to use pretty much the same ingredients that we put in the red salsa. So we're going to go ahead and put a couple teaspoons of minced garlic. I'm going to put the rest of the red onions and red bell peppers. I cut up some more bell peppers. You can use green bell peppers, whatever you got out of the garden. And I put another 1 jalapeno in there. These are kind of mild jalapenos, but most of y'all that like a little bit of heat might put in 2 jalapenos. That's why I say you need to taste it after you puree it to make sure the heat's there, the garlic's there, just whatever you like the best. I'm gonna put some more coriander, about 1/4 of a teaspoon of coriander in my salsa verde, just like I did the red salsa. I'm gonna put the same amount of cumin, about a teaspoon and a half. A teaspoon and a half of salt. And I forgot my lime juice. So you need a juice from half a lime. Now we're just going to put the lid on this and we're going to go over there and we're going to blend this up. And we got our salsa verde blended up, pureed good. And it made probably about 1.5 cups to 2 cups. Almost 2 cups is what it made. You can see the texture of it. If you want it a little bit looser than this, you can add just a little bit of water to it. Tastes delicious. I just love that cumin and coriander in it. This is going to be so good on so many things. Now, the way I'm going to do this, I'm not putting it in a jar. I'm going to put it in a little bowl, crock bowl I've got here. And we're going to do it the old-fashioned way, just like you would do. I don't have a small crock. Most of my crocks are big enough for making sauerkraut and stuff in. You can't use weights on this because it will just sink to the bottom, y'all. But it'll be fine, just as long as everything stays, pretty much underneath the liquid. It's all going to be good. And I've got my weights here I want to show y'all, but you can't use those weights. Those are for like sauerkraut and pickles and stuff. It just don't work with salsa. But I've got some more cheesecloth here. What you can do if you've got cheesecloth, you don't have to do this. You can put it on top And I will be placing this on a bigger saucer and just put you a saucer on top. You see, you can't use this on there like that because it'll just fall right to the bottom. You can't use the weights. Now when this ferments, it will bubble up and it will come on over the side. So that cheesecloth will catch some of that. Plus I will set it on top of another bigger plate to put in the pantry for a couple of days while it ferments. I'm not going to put any kind of, I don't have any more bell peppers or nothing to put over the top to help weigh it down. So between the cheesecloth and the weight of the saucer, it's going to be just fine. It's just like the old-fashioned way. So I'll check this in a couple of days, just like I do the red salsa. And we'll have some fermented Salsa Verde. I absolutely love Salsa Verde. And it's not going to be too spicy. You could have roasted your tomatillos before you done this. I just didn't want to take time to do it, but it would be really good to roast your tomatillos and let them cool before you start your fermentation. But that would be really delicious too. So I'm putting this back here in the pantry for about 2.5 days. Okay, everything's in the pantry, all cozy, ready to do its thing, ready to ferment. It's going to be really good, y'all. Okay, I let my salsa ferment for about 2 days, 2.5 days. I have gone as much as 3 days. But, you know, it's summertime, the house is hot, humid, so it didn't take as long to ferment. And I know some people are going to know, well, how do I know if it fermented? Well, what you're going to see is you're going to see bubbles around the edge. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it very good, but there'll just be little bubbles around your edge of your salsa. Now, when you take your top or whatever that you've put over your salsa while it fermented, while you've done that and you take it off, make sure that whatever you weighted it down with, make sure there's no fuzzy mold, anything black in there, or just smells, you know, almost horrid. But when I took my cheesecloths off of this, all you're going to see is bubbles, like I said, around the edge and on top, and then I smell it. Now I took them bell peppers that I had weighted the top down. I took them off. They still look good. Took them off, threw them away. And then I smell it. So what am I smelling? I'm smelling a little bit of a vinegar smell, but mostly just good salsa smell in there. And you see how good it still looks after a couple days of being at room temperature and fermenting. It still looks really, really good. And so does the small one. It had just a few, you can see maybe this one better, around the edge, bubbles. And then there'd be a few bubbles on top. And when you stirred it, you couldn't really stir it down. And then you just smell it. And every once in a while you'll see it bubble. It's still trying to ferment. And even when you put it in the refrigerator, it's gonna continue the ferment. But I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna taste it here in just a minute. Okay, if y'all remember, this is my salsa verde. I had just put it in a little crock bowl because that's, you know, there's pretty much all that, you know, I had was that many tomatillos. So that's what I done. I set it on a plate, and good thing I did because as it was fermenting, it kind of went over the side, but it went into the plate that I had set it on. But I've already took the cheesecloth off of it. Now this one, it's hard. When I looked at it, of course it looked just like this. There's no mold, no nothing around it, and this set for about 2.5 days too. And it just looks like it did when I put it in there. There was a little bit of bubbles around the edge. It smells absolutely wonderful. And I did take a little taste of it, and it is some of the best salsa verde that I've tasted in a long time. Now, if I'd have roasted you know, my tomatillos and all that, it would just put it over the top too. But anyways, it's really, really good. So I'm going to be putting this up in a jar, and all this will be going in the refrigerator. So let's see what it tastes like, and then let's talk about it just a little bit. That's what it looks like. Salsa Verde, fermented. It smells so good. Okay, so we got our regular salsa done. It's done fermenting. It tastes wonderful, but we're going to taste it again. And then I've done taste a little bit of the Salsa Verde, but I'm going to taste it with some chips. And we're going to put it all up and put it in the refrigerator. Now, I know some of y'all are going to ask, how long will it stay refrigerated? You're going to get different answers on that, because I think different people have had different situations with it. Some people tell you it'll stay good up to 2 to 3 weeks in the refrigerator. If you're a big salsa person, you eat a lot, you'll get it out before then. Me and Danny don't eat a lot of it, but we do like it, and we eat it on tacos. We also just like, you know, dipping our chips in it, maybe making some cheese dip with it, just different things. And you can put it in your chili. You can put it in anything, just like you would rotel. So, and there's also people that say they've had it up to 6 months in the refrigerator. I'm just going to tell you, just keep an eye on it, because, you know, tomatoes have a lot of acidity in it, and it will last a while because of that. So just watch your tomato products when they're fermented and put in the refrigerator. They're going to continue to ferment while they're in there too. So if you want to, you can take some of it, put it in freezer bags, and freeze it. You know, if you don't want it to continue to ferment in the refrigerator, you're done at this point, you can do that with it. If you water bath can some of it, it's going to take some of that, you know, it's going to take a lot of the probiotics away from your fermentation. So unless you're just doing this just for the taste and not worried about the probiotics, sure, go ahead and water bath it. But, you know, it's got a lot of good fermentation in there and some good probiotic for your belly. So I would just keep it in the refrigerator. Put it in the freezer is going to kind of, you know, hold that in there a little bit, but that's just up to you. But anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks, some people say 6 months. So however, that's why I like doing it in little batches, you know, because I know I'm not going to let none of it go bad. But it does taste wonderful, y'all. And it's just a really good thing, especially when you're doing it in small batches, do something like this, because maybe you don't have a whole lot of tomatoes at one time, so you can do a little bit at a time. And you can even, you know, do different fermentations as you go, so they're not all coming off at the same time. These tomatillos, I only planted 2 plants. The last time I planted tomatillos has been several years ago, and that's when the main garden was in the back. And I think I planted 6 tomatillo plants, and I got quite a few tomatillos. But I did get enough to make me some salsa verde. And it's not like we eat a lot of it, but I'll have enough right here. I will put some in the refrigerator, and I think I'm going to put some, I may put them in my little ice cube tray, and I may freeze them like that and then pop them in just a bag. And when I need some salsa verde for like salsa verde chili, enchiladas, something like that, I can just pop out, you know, get how much I need and heat it up and put it on my enchiladas or whatever, my chili or just whatever. So if you wanted a longer term, you know, be able to preserve it for longer term, I wouldn't suggest water bathing it. Because when you do that, it just starts taking the probiotics out of there. And when you're freezing it, I don't think you're going to have that big issue with it. Now, some of y'all can look that up. But for me, I would not want to let any of it go bad. So I would just as soon maybe freeze some of it and then keep some fresh in the refrigerator than to let any of it go bad. But it's a good way, and it's a good way to get some of those probiotics in your belly too. So if you're somebody that eats a lot of salsa, you're going to really like this, especially doing it in small batch. But these right here are ready just to go into the refrigerator. I do want to get a little bit out. I got more chips than I need right there, but I'm going to put just a little bit of the regular salsa on my plate. You going to come try some of this?
I heard you. I heard you talking.
I'll let you try it. I mean, I've done tried it with a spoon, but not with a chip. They probably can't see you up there. See your face.
Oh, because you're down here?
Yeah.
That turned out good, didn't it?
I think it did. And, you know, you don't just have to eat it with chips. You can put it in all kinds of recipes. And with it being fermented like this, you know, it's better for your belly.
Did you put some on my chili the other night?
No, I actually put some of this before it even fermented. When I made that little pot of taco chili stuff, it was this is a salsa verde. And I had just got it done, and no, as a matter of fact, it had been fermenting 1 day, but it wasn't done. But I did put some of that in your taco chili stuff.
I eat it with that too.
I guess. No, it smelled good. It smells so good. It's really good.
That is good.
I think the fermentation and leaving it
It has a little bit of a sweet and sour to it. It's really good.
Well, it's the tomatillas.
Yeah.
You know, they just have that distinct flavor. But
we just ate a wonderful fried cabbage lunch.
I know
That's making me want some tacos or something.
Tacos. Yeah. It's I think that's why I'm stuttering here. I think that's why I like pico de gallo, and Danny don't really like it, but I do like pico because it's at its raw, fresh state. It's not been heated up. It's not been cooked, and maybe that's why I like the fermented salsa the best too, because to me it's at its freshest, and plus it's it's got the good stuff for your bellies in it. So
it's not that I don't like the taste of it. I just don't like it when they put the hot to it.
Oh, the jalapenos. Now, I did put jalapenos in both of these, but I didn't overdo it.
No, there's no hot. I love the flavor of jalapeno. But some of that pico de gallo is, I put a really hot pepper in it, but
yeah, that's really good. I think I will freeze some of this in my ice cube trays and then throw them in a freezer bag. Because I don't think me and you will eat all this verde before winter time. And
probably not.
And when we need some, I can just pop it out of the freezer. I just really don't want to can it. But
I love that fresh.
Yeah.
I love the freshness of it and the.
I may even do some of the salsa that way too. We'll see. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments, because it's just me and Mr. Brown. I could fill this pint jar up and it would take us several weeks to eat all this. But if I had company or something, it'd be gone. But I'm just thinking.
A lot of times we have tacos once a week. So.
I may just go ahead and put these two, put the lid on it, put the date on it, and put it in the refrigerator. It'll be good at least up to 3 weeks. I do know that. You just need to keep an eye on it. As 3 weeks go by, I mean, it's still fermenting. And if I think we're not going to be eating all of it, I may stick some in the freezer. I'm going to leave some of this out in a little jar for us to eat right now. But I think I may freeze the rest of it, where I can have it for this winter for our chilies, taco soups, and enchiladas and stuff like that.
You got a lot more tomatoes out here too.
Yeah, I've got a lot more to go out there and pick. So when I think I'm going to do with the rest of my tomatoes too, I know a lot of y'all do this. I'm going to wash them real good, let them dry. Then I'm going to put them, and I've done this, and put them out in the freezer until I get such a buildup. And probably when it's cooler weather, I'll either make some tomato sauce some tomato juice, maybe some V8 juice, something that we can use this winter for our chilies and soups and stuff. I've still got tomato juice in the pantry. Y'all see me make a big old batch of homemade spaghetti sauce and stuff. So as far as tomatoey stuff in our pantry, we're doing really good. So I don't really need to.
We ate some wonderful tomato soup the other day too.
Yeah, if y'all watched that video, I made homemade tomato soup out of all my little cherry tomatoes, and we're still getting a bunch of those. So anyways, this is really good stuff. So I highly recommend, if you get a chance, you've seen how easy it is, and don't be afraid of it. If your house is really hot right now, just give it 2 days. Check it, smell it, make sure that there's no mold or anything on top, the fuzzy mold or anything. Make sure that now you can't just use a regular fermentation weight because it'll sink to the bottom. So you see me use the little bell peppers that I put over the top. And you can do something like that. You can put a little baggie that's got water in it. It's to kind of weight it down and you can do that. I've done that before. Just can't put nothing really heavy because it will sink. Putting a cheesecloth over this little crock bowl here and then putting just a little saucer on it was just like the old-fashioned way when you do any kind of fermentation in a crock. All you did was just put a kind of a clay top on it, and that's all they done, and it's turned out perfect. So what you got here is salsa that's about 2.5 days old, and as hot as it's been, I wouldn't want to go much further than that, but you just want to smell it and make sure it's at its, it's really at its good point. You just don't want a bunch of fuzzy mold or black mold going around the edge of it or anything like that. So just keep an eye on it. It's about that easy. So I think I'm going to leave this in here, because I was just going to put it in here and put it in the refrigerator. But I kind of changed my mind. So I'm going to put a little bit in a little jar, like I said, and then freeze the rest of it in ice cube trays. And then when it's frozen, I'll just pop them into a bag. And that's the way I'm going to do this batch. So anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. You need some more salsa? Did you want to say something?
No, I'm just listening to you.
Oh, he's just listening to me. I could sit here and eat a bunch of it right now, but we ate such a big lunch, I'm not going to. But I am going to put the date on this. Of course, put salsa on it, and then put the date. I'm going to put the date today when I took it off fermentation. That's what I think I'm going to do. Or, it really doesn't matter. As long as you get it, close. I think I'll put, let's see, what is today? What is today's date? 25th?
5th, I think.
The 25th?
25th.
Yeah, because I've done this. I think I started this on the 22nd, so we'll put the 22nd. And when you got any kind of tomato products in the refrigerator, you always want to make sure that when you're using them, to wipe the the rim down and down the side, because it can start getting a little bit moldy and it can get kind of black looking. You'll ever get that on anything tomatoey in your refrigerator. I've got several things. Danny, can you bring me those pickles that I fermented out of the refrigerator? That jar. Do y'all remember back when it wasn't a long video. It was, if you watched it, it was one of my shorts, and I made a small batch of fermented dill pickles. So he's gonna bring, and I want to try them in front of you. I don't know what's going on with me today, but I sure am stuttering. Maybe it was all the heat this morning out in the garden. You come in and you're about delirious from the heat. Yeah, I want to try one. I want them to see what. So these are the pickles. I've done 2 pint jars. If you haven't seen that short, just go to my shorts, and it's fermented. It's called refrigerator dill pickles is what it is. So, and they just ferment in the refrigerator. You don't have to even leave them out. I made them up. As soon as I made them up, I stuck them right in the refrigerator.
That's done been a month ago.
Well, you know what? I wrote the wrong. That's supposed to be 7, not 6.
That's what I started to say.
You know, I think I done that on some of the checks too.
Checks.
Yeah, that I wrote, but it'll be okay. I don't write very many checks. But anyways, there it is. And that grape leaf is still on there. Now, a lot of y'all ask me about, not everybody has access to grape leaves, or these are muscadine leaves. So you just use like 1/4 teaspoon of alum or 1/4 teaspoon of pickle crisp. Or you don't put anything in there, because I've done that and they stayed crisp. But these are really, they turned out so good. And the amount of dill and garlic and stuff I put in there. So fresh. It'd be really good on a hamburger too. There's no processing, no cooking, no canning. You don't want that big old piece of dill on there. It's just refrigerator pickles. I also have an old video making refrigerator bread and butter pickles. And do you know them pickles are still in my refrigerator and still are good, and the brine's still good too. You just add to it. And so these are good just to eat as a side. You know what? You know how you'll take cucumbers out of and onions and just put a little vinegar on them and eat them? That's what this right here is so good. That's what it would remind you of. But it's got the garlicky dill taste to it. And it's crisp.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a mouth's full.
If I hadn't just ate lunch, I'd be chipping out on that.
I know you would. I would be too. Anyways, I hope y'all try y'all some fermented salsa or salsa verde. If you didn't grow any tomatillas, you can buy them in most grocery stores. And it just has this really good, like I said, distinct flavor to it. You can't really get with just regular tomatoes. A lot of people make salsa verde out of green tomatoes too. Now I've done that before, but I don't have a video on it. So you can research that. So if you've got a lot of green tomatoes, you can make salsa verde out of that. You just got to have the right seasonings in it. And it's pretty good too. So anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. And I think before I say bye, I want to share some books with you that I've always enjoyed. And let me put some of this stuff up and get it out of my way. Because some of y'all may have these books, some of y'all may not, and may be interested in them. I love the illustrations in them. It's not just, a cookbook. It's just a book that you can sit down and really enjoy. Whether if you're wanting a recipe or if you just want to look at it and read it. And it's just one of them kind of recipe books. So let me get this stuff put up and I'll be right back and I'll share the book with you. Well, there's several of them. Okay, I wanted to show y'all. This is how I'm going to freeze that salsa verde. These little molds here. That's probably about 1/2 cup in each one. So I'm going to put these and let them freeze solid, and then I'll take them out and throw them in a bag. And I'll have them for, like I said, when I make chicken salsa verde chili or just anything like that I need it for, enchiladas or anything, or just to eat. Have y'all ever heard of Susan Branch? She was an author of, let me open this up. I find most of these Susan Branch books in usually flea markets. I hardly ever I don't think I've ordered any online. If I have, it may have been from eBay or Etsy or something like that. But I think most of mine, it's not like I've got a bunch of them, but I do have several. And I just love these books. And in fact, in the back of the book, it'll show you all her. You can go to her website, www.susanbranch.com, printed in the USA, and get her books. There's a lot of these I don't have. I'd love to have them. They're just, I don't know. I don't know how to really explain it. This one is the Autumn Susan Branch from the Heart of the Home. This is probably one of my favorite ones just for the illustrations. And just, you look at the pictures and you just see, you just love everything in the picture. I mean, what you see in this, on this cover front is probably everything that I do love. So that's a lot of reason I just love her books. But her cookbooks are just so comforting and just, they look like they were handwritten, you know. So they're just fun books. A lot of good recipes. You know, I could go a whole year and not, it would take me years to get through all the rest, you know, the recipes in so many of my cookbooks. It's just hard to do. But, and then I get off the beaten path and, you know, forget, you know, I need to go to these recipe books and I need to do recipes out of them, and just stuff happens and you just go the other way because you got other ideas. This is another one. This is a special edition, Just a Matter of Time. It says brought to you by the Among Friends collection. Let me see what the, I'm going to read this, the front of the cover for you, because this one's kind of neat. It's got the neat cover on it, and it's called Just a Matter of Time. It says, if you are traveling near Lake of the Ozarks in central Missouri, which is not too far from where I'm at, you might run across a delightful company of friends in the midst of creating and designing greeting cards. Among Friends is the name of the little company, which also describes the atmosphere of their workplace. This is a quiet confidence that fills the air and a camaraderie that is matchless. It is here that the owners, Roxy Kelly and Shelley Reeves Smith, decided that it was just a matter of time, THYME, before their greeting card company would bring this cookbook to life. The recipes have a unique history. Many have been generously contributed by friends and family of the twosome, and many found their beginnings in the kitchen of a restaurant Roxy formerly owned. From the first days of operating the restaurant, Roxy shared many recipes and menu ideas with her customers. An interesting thing happened. Her customers not only continued to support her even when they could make the tasty dishes themselves, but also reciprocated by sharing their favorite recipes. This book is the result. It is a tribute to the spirit of generosity and support you find among friends. As Shelley artfully depicts each recipe, she lends an unpretentious elegance to the book. Her gifted hands add warmth, humor, and beauty to the simple instructions. After you taste her talent showcased in this book, you will find yourself looking for other forms of her work in card and gift shops everywhere. Among Friends invites you to take a little time to pour yourself into the pages of this more than a cookbook, and then, of course, share it with friends. And that's what I say about these cookbooks. It's just like they're more than a cookbook. They're just an experience. So this one here, was created here in Arkansas. So it's a nice one too. And it kind of reminds you of the Susan Branch cookbooks. It's made in the same way. Lynn Creek, Missouri. You can see the pages are just, they look like they were handwritten. I love the artistry of it. And they'll always sometimes have a little story sometimes that goes with it. Here on the side, it'll tell you maybe where the recipe come from. So this one is, let's see. I'll have to see for sure. Maybe you can just look it up. It's the limited edition of Just a Matter of Time. THYMA. I don't see a. I'm still looking, y'all. There were several editions. So you can just look the name of the book, Just Matter of Time Among Friends, by Roxy Kelly and illustrated by Shelley Reeves Smith. So that's why I think, and I'm pretty sure I got this one at a flea market, and it reminded me so much of the Susan Branch books. Here's another Susan Branch. This one is Vineyard Seasons, More from the Heart of the Home. And somehow I've ended up with two. I'm going to think that I picked one up and somebody, I think, sent me one as a gift. Yeah, I think I bought this one for $4 at a flea market. But it's just another one of her books that she has stories in, recipes. She talks about her, her family, and the illustrations are wonderful. I love looking at these books. A lot of good recipes too. I think y'all would really like these books if you've never seen them before. So I don't have just a whole lot of them. And see, I've got duplicates because people have sent me some of these books. But I can tell you, if I ever get the chance, I'm probably going to see if I can order a few more. This one here is another one of, this is called With Heart and Soul. And this is the one by Roxy Kelly and illustrated by Shelley Reeves Smith. So this is another one of their books. Like I said, it reminds you so much of Susan Branch books. I just love them. If I can find any of the links, I'll try to share them. But I think you can just look it up. And somebody had even wrote in this one, caramel corn recipe. I haven't made this recipe yet, but I may try to do it this winter. So if you're interested in these books, just look up, the recipe books by Roxy Kelly and Friends. ROXIE Kelly, KELLEY, and Friends. And see what you can come up with. Maybe. And eBay, Etsy, Amazon. A lot of times Amazon's getting really high on their cookbooks and stuff. You have to be careful. But you just can't help but love them. The artistry and stuff in them. But, so if you ever see the cookbooks like this by Roxy Kelly or Susan Branch at any flea markets, look through them. See if you would really enjoy them, because to me, they're just a part of my kitchen library in there. And especially in the wintertime when I've got a little bit of time, I just sit down and look at them. In fact, this may not be all of them. I'd have to go in there and look and make sure that I haven't got some out and hadn't put them up yet. But I can go to the back of this one right here. And you can go to susanbranch.com and see the different ones that she's got in print. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 at least, and maybe even more. So I just want to share that with y'all. I like sharing stuff that I love and share it with y'all, because a lot of y'all even have the same, cookbooks and different books that I have. And if you think you'd be interested in these, just research it and look it up. And look for them at flea markets and places like that. So we'll see y'all in a few days. I've always got at least a couple of videos every week, and I've been putting out a few little shorts out too. So that's just a little 3-minute video. If you watch the shorts, they're kind of fun sometimes. I watch them too. So y'all try to stay cool. Be careful out in this heat, and if you're all like us, you're not. You're just trying to get out there when you can, when it's in the morning when it's the coolest, and then late at night. Sometimes you can't help it. You got to get out there during the day, but you just really got to be careful and stay hydrated. So God bless everybody. We'll see y'all in a few days, and y'all be safe.